Alright, today we are going to start a video series for a Grand Theft Auto 5 role-playing CAD slash MDT system for police and civilians. I'm going to show you how you can build your own, or you will be able to also use the one I'm creating now. Today we're going to start part one, which will be creating the user sign up page, and we might get to creating the user's civilian character, which that will be needed to get a job so they can make money, which will include a police job. So that's where the whole CAD system comes in. Once your civilian gets a job as a police officer, he will be able to use the CAD and the MDT. But I also plan to add a whole economy system for civilians to separately store a fake money, so they know how much money they can use in their servers for their character. They'll be able to purchase cars, food items, guns, properties. Quite a bit of other stuff also, but we will start with that. But with that all out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. So first you're going to get on Bubble. It's bubble.io. You can Google that or just type it. It'll bring you to a page that looks like this. You'll have to sign in, of course, but once you get signed in, you will be able to create an app. You go ahead and click that. There might be templates for you. I've created apps, so it just shows all of my apps that I've created. But you will want to just click here, type the name of one of your apps, and then I've already done this. It will bring you here. If you're new, it'll pop up saying, giving you options for them to help you figure out the system, or like I did, since I kind of know it already, you can select to start with a blank canvas basically. But once you get to that point, you'll want to double click and get this box right here up. Depending if you want to create an app for a phone or for the internet. But I'm going to do a mobile version. So for mobile, you'll want to do this page as a native app, which means you will not be able to use any pages. You won't be able to add pages or use any pages here. Everything will be built on this one page using groups, repeating groups, containers. I'll show you how to use it all, set it all up, but we will set this up real quick. Native app name, we're going to call this Los Santos Productions CAD Systems. It's going to be a user's content. I created a page or an image. Maybe we will go ahead and use that image. See, I've created this CAD before, so I got quite a few images. I need to switch my stuff. Maybe we'll just align this one to our parent. $380 by 640. It gives you these sizes as a reference. Now, with that reference, it's better to start small because it's easier for your project to automatically expand. But sometimes when it shrinks, if you don't set stuff up right, words will get cut off. You'll run into all sorts of other problems. So it's better to start small. But now that we got that created, we will go ahead and create our first group. Groups are basically, we're going to use them as pages. You can basically, let me add one real quick. This will be our sign up page. But group C, I say it's like pages because you can make them visible and not visible. And when they're not visible, you can make them collapse. Depending if you're on making a native app for phones or a browser page, that you won't be able to see this. If you're making a browser page, you won't see the animate the because you actually create separate pages. But with that being said, this one we are going to make a row type group. That's going to make it so when we put items in here, I'll just go ahead and add a couple buttons real quick. They automatically stack on top of each other. I don't know why they stacked that far apart. But it will, I will label each one A and B just so you can see that based on what order you have them in, inside the group will change where they are positioned in the group. Not sure why this is spacing them that far apart. I want them centered off the top of the box. See, these would, let me go ahead and click on my group. spacing 5. We'll go 10. I guess I was going for column. I was wrong. I like to center all of my groups. I don't know why that one's bigger. 236, 268. That would be why I created it bigger, I guess. But see how in my group I gave it a row gap of 10. That will automatically space my objects. If I put a text in here, it will be here. You can't see it because it's probably black. I'm going to delete it, so I'm just going to really quickly change the color to white. But it is also 10, so anything you add inside this group, unless you change it, you can with the margins here, you can change things. So we'll do -5. Now we're 5 away from the one above it. You can go left and right in the container like this. That's why it's important to choose a spot where you want it placed, whether it be on the left or right or center, and then adjust it in your margins so if your screen expands, they don't get all messed up. Like, I will go ahead and make this group visible for 1 second. You can ignore this because I plan to change it back. I'm just going to show you that what I mean by those are roughly lined up together, but it's selected to be stuck to the left side of the group instead of the center. These two are stuck to the center. So when the page expands, even though I had them lined up, all right, it did not expand. It should have expanded though. Oh, it's because I have it set to a fixed width. Now it should actually work. My picture's only a certain size, but see how this text is still the same distance off the side from here, 71 pixels. I mean, you can't really tell, but it's still roughly the same distance, but these two are still in the center of the screen. So it's kind of important to make sure you always select the correct positioning and adjust with your margins. But I'm going to go ahead and delete these. That was just kind of showing you a little something first. But now that we got our group sign in, we will center it. That should also have affected our stuff, but that's fine. We'll figure that out a little later. So group sign in, this is going to be our user, current user. Type of content's going to be a user. I'll explain this here in a little while. And then your data source is going to be the current user who's actually signing in and whatnot. But now we'll go ahead and get started creating this page. Our standard group, we're going to edit that just so it's something. We're going to do a flat color, and we'll just do white for now because I plan to switch it so the user can change their background later to lighter or dark mode. It's pretty easy fix or switch. What color should we make a border? I like doing a border. We'll do black for now. We can easily change that. But now you can see our group now. It hides our cover screen, which I also need to turn this off. With that off, I can click on here to hide it. If that's not turned off, it doesn't hide it here. You have to actually hide it with the eyeball. Just a little tip for if you run into an error later and you're not sure why your group's not shutting off. If you go to click on it like that and it doesn't shut off, your problem's right here. But now we got our group colored background. We will add some text to it. Once you pick your item, you need to select where you're putting it. There are presets that you can use, which it looks like it gave us our background's color. I didn't set that up, so we're gonna go ahead and edit this because I do want the heading centered. Use Acme. I don't know why, just because. No background, no border. If this is your first time creating some sort of user system, you want to keep it as simple as possible. I've created this program before and it was extremely complex. It was the first one I've done. First one I did, I was still learning how to use the program, and it ended up being confusing as fuck. Nobody used it. So I'm going to create another one and do a tutorial. But we got our sign up heading put in, fit with the content. Alright, so sign up page, we need to create a icon. And we're going to do an arrow. Type in arrow. I like to use these arrows and put a border around them. It's just what I like to do. we'll do create a new style. I'm going to call it back button. That way for all of our back buttons we can use this style. I think it should preset you your color that it chooses. Border will be solid. We're going to do 20 brown, 2, and our same color. Now this should change it, and I like to make my buttons 35 by 35. It is a good size on a cell phone, but we're in a group. The arrow's above the text, so we are going to mess with our margins. Actually, we'll mess with our arrow margin, but we're going to leave our arrow on the left side of the screen, so when it gets bigger it actually goes with our screen to the left side. We are going to bump it out and bump it down 5. I like to give a little bit of room. You know, looks a little cleaner. Now we're going to add a shape. You don't have to do this. I just like to make a header. It's not going to be a fixed width. We're going to let this thing run free. We're just gonna edit. We're just gonna edit this one. We don't need that color for anything. And you don't hit add style. That will create a new blank one and put it in your list here. It's kind of shitty. You'll end up with something you don't even need. Yeah, I like to slap a nice bar across there to break things up. We'll make this one 15. It's whatever you want to do. But now we will add some text fields. Call this username. We're going to edit this style. To Acme. We need to do that first things first. Make sure our text stays the same. Layout. We're going to go center. Make sure everything's off the center. we're going to actually space this first one down just because we got enough page. We'll go 50. And then we will scroll down to here and we will select an input. This is something you can actually type in. You'll see here in a second. This is where your user will like type their username. We're gonna name it username. This you want to actually name because you will be using this information. And like you'll need to use this box basically, so you need to know what it's called. I will show you that here shortly, so we're going to edit this. We're going to give it a background style of white. Solid border around this 2 with 2. Color that. Font's going to be Acme. The hell's it at? Alright. So now we got a username. Now we can duplicate this, Control D, or you can select it and enter it again. Actually, we'll do that. We'll do that. I won't duplicate things. This will be email. We're going to set that up the same way again. Fit with the content. Shrink our thing down. What do we, 20? We're gonna move this one. I'm just gonna move this one over to 20. That way, in case it gets longer on a different phone, there's a little more room there. But now we can move this one all the way over to 20. Alright, we got our email. Now we can add another input. This one will be different than the last one. Select our group again. Alright, now this will be email. And what you're going to do different in this group is right here where it says content format, you're going to want to change that to email. Check that so when they hit enter after they're done, it doesn't like select the button and move them forward. And also select this should not be empty. I'm going to go check these two on the last one real quick. This input should not be empty. And prevent enter from submitting. Now we'll go back to the email. And we are going to, first we're going to move it behind so it's lower. Then we're going to move it up with the bottom of the email text. We're going to go back to it. We're going to move it right using, we got to center it first. But yes, we're going to move it right using left. We're going to make this one 24. 264. All right. All right, so now we have a username, an email. Now all we have to create is a password and a confirm password. And then we will make a remember me check mark. And then the sign up will be complete. So we'll add another text. Call this password. Fit with the content. Whoops. We're going to go left. So we got a password here. Now we will get another input. We'll call this one password. It will also be changed in the content format to password. So I don't think I explained that. In the email one here, you change it to email, and that makes sure your user has an at something.com. And by checking this one as password, it will make it so it has the asterisk signs instead of the actual letters in when the user's typing in their password. But with selecting that, we can prevent it from submitting on enter, and then it should not be empty. Now we will go ahead and position that. We will bring it up with the password. Then we will move it over with the left till it was 13, I think it was. Now we have a password. We will do a confirm password. Since this one's so long, I like to double line it, override it with centered. And then I just don't put the asterisk behind it. Alright, we will swing this over. The texts don't really matter too much what they say. You can name them if you want. For the most part, they type what you type in, unless it's extremely long. Then it'll cut it off, but it'll type for the most part. I always leave what it is. Like when you, here I'll show you. We're going to put another input for confirming the password. But see how it says input D? I always leave input and write what it is. We're going to switch this to password. We're going to go 264 by 24. We're going to move this baby up till it's centered. Seven, so it's centered. And we're going to move her over left till we're 13 off. Now we have username, email, password, confirm password. Now do we want to we're going to have them do a server ID. That way multiple servers can use the app. See, I didn't do this on my first original one because I didn't know about this. So I tried to, that was another problem, it doesn't work. It was just my server that I got tired of running using it. And with nobody else's server being able to get on it, it kind of became obsolete. So we're going to go ahead and add a server ID. We'll probably let people change it later, but I think we're going to require it for the sign up. No, we're not going to require it for a sign up. We will we're going to go add a couple plugins real quick. So You go to your left side of your screen, scroll down, you should see plugins. This is basically free and paid for, like, features people who use Bubble have built. But we want to get iconic elements. That's going to give us more of a mobile phone look. We're going to use API connector. We're going to get the toolbox. I don't know how to use the progress bar, but we're going to get it. It's right here, ready to go. Stripe, we will be getting that also. That Stripe is so you can accept payments. So if you decide to follow along in these tutorial videos, you should be able to build this program and set up Stripe payments so you could sell monthly subscriptions to server owners. You can maybe create fake money shark cards. I mean, this is technically a economy-based systems what we're building here, so if it's used in an economy-based server, then people will have to buy their vehicles, houses, etc. So they would possibly be interested in paying for a shark card for your money system. So it'd be worth adding in. There's also another one. It's called Howler. It is a free one. I always download the one that has the most apps. It's by no code. But this allows you to like make sound effects and stuff. I will set that up real quick. But since we have added those buttons, here is iconic icon. This was the very first one we clicked on. It's supposed to, I'm hoping it gives it more of a mobile look. This is actually not what I was looking for. I was looking for a toggle right there. Iconic toggle. But the iconic toggle comes with the iconic icon plugin. Iconic elements. But since we have this selected, we will click our group we want to apply it to. Come over here, apply it. We'll move it all the way to the bottom. Center it. Call it Remember Me. And we're actually going to add a text element, another text element. It'll be Remember Me text. scale it down to the correct sizes. Swing it on over to the left. We'll get it. Yeah, we'll go all the way with it. Go ahead and skip that down to about 20. No, we're going to go 25. Just because our icon is bigger. It's roughly centered there. Alright, so we got a username, an email address, a password, confirm password, and remember me or don't. We're going to uncheck it. What color do we want it? We'll go green, I guess. But we're going to uncheck that. We're going to also go back through real quick and make it to where these elements aren't clickable. All the text elements. It's not, you don't have to do this. Yeah, you don't have to do that at all, but when in Rome. That makes no sense. But we're going to go ahead and add a button to our sign up group. We'll call that sign up. Change the name of our group. Still says button. We're going to change this real quick, but primary button to Acme. We'll see what that looks like, but layout, I like to get rid of the padding. So if you have a button that has a big word on it, it can go all the way out to the edge. Maybe if you want, add a padding of 2 to the right and the left, and that'll keep it 2 inches off. Go ahead and center this button. We're going to go ahead and take it down. We'll go down to 40. Yeah, we're going to go down to 50. $50 below the toggle. This is actually going to be button sign up or remember me. And then it is only going to be visible. So we're going to check the box. This element is visible on page load. We're going to check it so it's not visible. Collapse it when hidden. So this, when, here, I'll show you this, but, or actually, I have to make this group visible. Ooh, I messed up and I didn't see. That's what happens, but that's why you check. But see how the button isn't visible? So just gotta center them. Go back through and edit these. $13. It's at 90. All right, so now that we have this hidden, how we're going to make this visible is a condition. So when toggle remember me is checked, this element is visible. It is going to be checked. When toggle remember me isn't checked, this element isn't going to be visible. I don't think this has to be on, but we'll go ahead and preview that. It shouldn't be there. When I check it, it's there. So the reason we did that is because we're also going to set up a button for it not being checked. That doesn't work yet, but we will go ahead and set this button up just so you can see how easy it is to actually, we're going to, sorry about that, we're going to minimize that, or not minimize it, hide it, so all we see is our very background page. But we're going to come down here and get this howler icon, and we're just going to draw it there. You don't have to do this. This is not needed. I'm just going to add sounds to mine. This will be a button sound. And I label it that. You will see why. If I add more sounds later, you'll want to know which sound is what. So I have some pre-downloaded sounds is the only reason I am actually adding sounds. I need to find it real quick. I am pretty sure this is the sound. I'm just going to put it down here at the bottom right corner. No reason why you can't see it. But now I will get back to this button. Edit workflow. We are going to, first off, since I am adding a sound, if you didn't add a sound, you don't have to do this. You're going to come down to element actions. And you're going to play howler. Then you have to come over here and select the sound. Your first one's going to be easy because it's only sound. It will automatically add it. Later on, I will set up only when a current user's button sound will be the thing is yes. And I will set up a setting so users can turn that on and off, basically. But now that we got the sound set up, we will go ahead and create the actual account, which is you click here, it's account, sign the user up. Simple as that. Email is going to be that input we created earlier. Remember, we named it input email. It's going to be the input email's value, which is going to be what the user types in, is what the value means. Password will be input password. Make sure you get password, not confirm password. Confirm password value. Requires a password confirmation. If you created one, you don't have to create one, but you're going to go look for input confirm passwords value. And remember me, I don't remember if this button was the one. That I set up for yes, but if not, I'm going to set it up for yes since I set this up. And then we will log the user in with the same setup. Input email value, input passwords value. Remember the email, yes. And that's just going to log the user in for the simple fact that since this is an app, when the user's logged in, we will be able to hide the website page, sign up, or the home page. We're not going to create an actual website, so it'll just be the home page. It'll hide the home page where users sign up and sign in. Is basically all it'll do. And that's it for that. So now that we have a sign up page, we can actually set this button up. This will be just since I did the sounds, I got to add the sound to every button. Play howler sound. And then we are going to hide group sign up. We're going to give it an animation. I like to do flip down. And now that back button works. Real quickly, just so I don't have to reset up all my sounds, I am going to explain a little bit in the data and add my sound data I was talking about a few seconds ago. But in the data, you will be able to create different data types, and under each type, you will be able to create a type of data. So basically, it comes built in with a user data type, and then an email field, a password field, and created this stuff right here. I'm not sure what slug is, but a created date, a modified date, your email, and it comes in with a private password feature, so keeps your users' passwords a little more hidden. But for the button sounds, it's going to be under the users data fields. I'm just going to name it button sounds. And this is going to be a type yes or no data, just because how I'm going to use it. Basically, I want these buttons to only work when the current user's button sound is yes. So when I set up the page so the users can edit their settings and change their sounds, they'll be able to turn or button sounds off, and all that'll do is basically switch button sounds to no. Pretty simple little trick to, I guess it's not a trick at all, it's how it's built. Only when button sounds is yes. And all I did there was I went to these two buttons without actually clicking on them. I went to the workflow. Since there's only two buttons, I was doing the same thing, it didn't matter, but since there's only two buttons, I can tell. I will label this back arrow just because I've never done that. It'd be nice to. Also, I need to create another one of these buttons. This one I am going to copy and paste, but I'm going to show you how to copy and paste with keeping all the workflows for it. So like if you just copy and paste it, this stuff will erase, like how you have it set up. But if you go to the button and right click on it and go to copy special and select copy with workflows, you can reselect your group, click right click paste special, paste with workflows. See how this is sign up, remember me, copy. We're going to change this to sign up, don't remember me. And this, we will basically flip-flop. Move up, icon, remember me isn't checked. We want this button visible. If it is checked, we want it invisible. Now we will edit the workflows because it's different. So all our information's still there. We just need to switch remember me. Log the user in. Remember the email. No. So all we're doing is changing remember the email to no. Everything else stays the same. But now that we did that, I'll show you how it flip-flops. Oh, it didn't. I wonder. Let's see, our back button worked. It just closed the page, but you can also see that nowhere on here is the howler message. But I don't know why this button did not work. Maybe it is working. Since it's collapsing, it's just moving this button up. Not too sure. Here, I'll put a text between the two just to separate things. Yeah, it's just moving the button automatically. But I also am going to do that just to see if that changes anything. Alright, so there we go. We have a sign up page. That is all it takes for you to create a sign up page for a CAD system or any other type of website or app you choose to build. I guess we will possibly stop this video with that at 1 hour and 6 minutes. I will probably continue. I'll start a fresh video, but I will probably continue and create the civilian side and explain a little more about the data system. Real quick, I will create the civilian data. We're going to create a new type, which will be a civilian. And in this, or we'll go back to our users data. And in our users data, we are going to create a civilian. And the field type is going to be civilian. That will connect our user to this civilian. Now, what's our civilian going to have? He will have a name. That'll be type text. Date of birth. That will be a date. Weight. That will be a number. Height. That will be a number. With making these numbers, the height and weight, we can have a little bit of fun and affect those in the CAD system. I mean, it won't change anything in the game, but like if your character, if we create Burger Shot and your character constantly eats burgers, we can create a weight system to where your burgers add a certain amount of weight, so your character technically gets fatter. And if he gets fatter, he could shrink. But I mean, these don't affect the game height. They'll just be funny things for an officer to see on the CAD. Get on and somebody be 600-pound guy because all he does is eat Burger Shot burgers. But so we got a name, a height, a weight, date of birth. We need an address. Address, we're just going to do as a text. Let me check my ID. What all do we got on here? I mean, I guess that'll work because, I mean, this isn't really an ID. This is just your civilian's information. So basically, kind of his. We'll do a bio. So that will basically be the start of our civilian. We will, how we did the user civilian, we will do in here vehicles. And that will change to a vehicle tab. Maybe we'll type that in. Vehicles, jobs, addresses, guns, and our civilian will be connected to all that. Guns will be guns. Job will be jobs. Address will be addresses. Vehicles will be vehicles. And now we will be able to link these things to specific civilians. If we were to connect those from your user, all your civilians would share the same things as your user. Maybe we will add cash here. Cash will be a number, and bank will be a number. But now that you see where we're going with on our next one, it won't be to do all of this in our next video. We will just be creating our civilian and possibly setting up the job application for becoming a police officer. That way we can work on getting the police CAD done. That way if you're watching this to build a CAD system for your server, you can build the police CAD while you continue to work on the CAD. You can be using the police CAD. So that being said, we will go ahead and stop this stream, and part 2 will be the civilian.